Hello and welcome back to Warframe. My name is Todd, also known as Magi Mech, and this is of course Warframe. Last time we did a little bit of bounty hunting. I got a couple things done. Off camera I did a little bit of farming, just to be able to get some mods so we were able to do the junction. So either in this episode or the next episode we will be doing the junction. From there, though, I just wanted to make a note of what I did. I tried to do some bounties, but as it turns out, with the low capabilities that we kind of have, Volt kind of struggles with some of the bounties, so I wasn't really able to get too far into that. So I mostly did a couple rounds on Koba, which is just a defense mission. The thing about Koba, of course, is that it's a dark sector, meaning that it's a resource drop rate and EXP from kills is higher, so you have a much higher chance of getting drops. The only reason I tried bounties first was just because bounties tend to give lots and lots of mod rewards that are very good, especially if you can get them early on. So before we start and get into doing the rifts, which is what I did say we were going to do next time, the fissures, that is, for the relics, we will be doing one of those here in a minute. Probably excavation, sadly. I kind of wish it was something else after last time, but hopefully we don't have too many issues. I did want to make a note of some of the things that you can do currently in the game. And that was, right now there are 2 promo codes that you can enter in as a new player in Warframe to be able to get some cool stuff. In the top right of the screen, you may notice that there's a thing that says 3D 1 hour, or 1H, and that's 3 days 1 hour for an affinity booster. And you can go into the market and you can buy things like boosters. Let's see, where are they? I think they're in equipment. Yeah, there they are, boosters. So these are the sort of thing that you can buy to up the amount of affinity you get, up the amount of credits, resources, and resource booster drop chances. These two are somewhat similar, but not the exact same. I think the resource drop chance may boost mod drop chance as well, but the affinity booster I have currently for the 3 days you can get by using the promo code OLDFRIEND, and I will throw that up on the screen along with the other promo code FREESWORD, which you can pretty much expect what that one does. The Old Friend one gives you a 3-day resource booster. It also gives you a thing that we will put down in our little navigation room here, because I think it would be a nice decoration. So you, of course, to add decorations to your landing craft, you can go to your landing craft and hit decorate. And the promo code Old Friend, if you press 1, for me anyway, will give you the Orican tea set. There are tons of different things you can put in your ship. I'm not going to go super in-depth into this. There's tons of people that do really crazy stuff with their ships, and I think it's really cool, but I'm terrible at what they refer to as IKEA frame, so I'm just gonna put down my little tea set right near my navigation console, so if my Warframe wants some tea, he can have some tea. Right there, that looks good. Yeah, it's fine. So you get that, and you get the affinity booster. It's a nice little thing. Warframe tends to do lots of different things for promotional materials. So if you're looking to join, right now is a really great time, because not only can you use the promo code Old Friend and free sword. Free sword, of course, gets you a free melee weapon, the heat sword. It's great because it actually comes with an catalyst installed, I think. Does it? Yes. So it comes with an Orican catalyst installed, which means that the mod capacity for this weapon is much higher as you level it up, versus our standard sword here that you get for the tutorial. It doesn't have one. Orican catalysts, we got the blueprint for early on, and we don't have the resources to build them yet, and they're very, very valuable because they allow you to install more mods, and I will show off the mods that I did get while I was off camera grinding here in a second. But I did also want to talk about another promotional material that they're doing right now, and here in this little screen here you can look up the news for the different things that are happening in Warframe. So as things happen, like as they release new content or whatnot, it will be displayed here. And one of the big things is to get Trinity Prime with Twitch Prime. So if you sign up for a free trial with Twitch Prime right now, with your account, you can get Trinity Prime for free. And let's see if I can show her off. She'll just be effectively added to your account, and you'll get all the cool benefits that go along with her. I have added her to my main account, which this account is not. here's Trinity Prime. She's a fantastic Warframe. She's kind of the healer in the game, so if you're really into healers, even her standard form is really quite hard to get. So, and Trinity Prime is actually vaulted right now, so it's impossible to get her if you didn't have the relics already, or the parts to get her. So that's a whole thing. So it's a really good time to join up and use the Trinity Prime with Twitch Prime thing, plus the 2 promo codes. You get tons of affinity, plus you can get a huge boost in getting a primed Warframe right off the bat. But we don't really have that. So I'm going to show off the mods real quick that I got while farming. I believe I got Warm Coat and Steel Fiber. I might have gotten that last time though. We got, for our Paris, we got Ammo Drum, and I think that was about it. So we do have 4 mods installed on one of our items, which is great because we can now do the relay. There is Convulsion, which is a great mod to get early on, and Heated Charge. I think I had that one last time. For the Skana, I got Relentless Combination, and then I got a gold mod, which is great, especially early on, the Healing Return, which will heal me every time I hit somebody with a status. So I'll go more into depth about what those kind of mods do, especially like the Healing Return, which is a really good mod later. Probably next episode I'll probably go into depth about that, but I just kind of want to talk about the promotional stuff that you can get right now, because it is all limited time as far as I understand. Aside from maybe the free code for the free sword. Aside from that, you may have noticed on our vault here, because we did a public game, we have a weird pink thing on our neck. That is what they refer to as the helmet cyst, and I'm not going to go super in depth about what it's all about. There's things you can do with it later on, so if you don't want to get rid of it, don't follow what I'm about to do. But if you get a new Warframe, every time you go into a public game, there's a chance that the helmet cyst will appear on your neck if the other Warframes in the group have it. But I don't really want it on my Warframe. It looks kind of ugly, and we'll get other Warframes later on to be able to deal with it. So for now, this door is only open if you have a helmet cyst on your neck and it is fully grown. You can see a little hair kind of sticking out. If that's the case, then this door will open and allow you into this special chamber.
Disgusting, is it not, Operator? Otis would enjoy
purging this.
Cleaning this room, but sadly this vile mass serves you and your Warframes a necessary evil.
There are many things about this room, many speculations about what its purpose is and the things that it does. Effectively, it is kind of speculated that it is in part of the infection that has kind of been weaponized for you.
Putrid. This thing is responsible for biological functions of the Orbiter. A strange design. Why would I be built with such a flaw?
And it is, of course, important. There's a Warframe later on that will allow you to open this door just by coming up to it as the Warframe. But for now, if you wanted to remove the cyst, you can come over here and you can sit in the chair.
Operator, no! Have you lost your mind?
And ooh, that every time I see it, it looks like it hurts. Alright, so now that that's done, the cyst is gone. If we leave out this door will not open anymore. So get a good look around if this is the first time you've ever seen it. You know, spend some time here. Like I said, there is a Warframe that allows you to open that door later on, but we probably won't see him for a very long time. Goodbye, helmet. And as I previously stated, the door will not open now. The cyst on our neck is gone. It will no longer appear on my Volt here. It will appear on other Warframes potentially in the future, but not Volt. He's now immune to the helmet cyst. There are things you can do with it, which hopefully we'll be able to explore later, but right now, not going to worry about it. Right now we've got a rift to explore, so let's go do that. I'm going to try and only do one round. I could probably do one round by myself. Let's go solo for this because I don't really want to get caught up in doing a long game. Typically excavation is something that is pretty long. So this is the screen you're prompted with when you select a Void Fissure mission, which allows you to select a relic, see its rewards, and equip it for the mission. So this is kind of just how you select which one you're going to use for that mission. You can see the rewards here. Nothing major aside from maybe a forma, which might be useful early on, but we probably still won't be able to build that right away. For the moment, let's just equip this one. And you never really have to worry about whether or not you're going to succeed here. The relics are not consumed on failed attempts, at least not as far as I know. So you don't really have anything to worry about if just equipping it and trying it out. So these missions are very special because they are kind of the end game content of Warframe, so they are not easy. If we kind of fail this, I wouldn't entirely be surprised. But watch, I say that and it'll be super
has
easy.
Been located. Proceed to the dig site.
Of course,
Watch
this
out.
is...
I'm detecting void fissures nearby. Do you have a matching relic?
Of course, this is a Void Fissure mission, so there will be enemies spawning in.
You're near a fissure.
As you heard that noise just now, that's the sound of a Void Fissure spawning in, meaning that there are corrupted enemies. Corrupted enemies are something you'll see much later on in the game. They're a special faction that only appear in Void Fissures and corrupted areas. But for the moment... Okay, let's pick up this. They hopefully won't cause us too many issues. So when these fissures open like that, enemies spawn in, and the enemies around the area are corrupted. Corrupted enemies tend to be not much different than their normal factions, but they work together. So Grenier, Corpus, and Infested will work together if they are corrupted, which can create some very interesting enemy interactions. Our
They're
main
dropping
objective,
reactant. Use it to crack open a relic.
as she just said, was...
You are going to need more reactant if you want to open that relic.
Well, thankfully Lotus kind of explained it for me. Enemies will drop reactant, and reactant, there's a counter up in the top left for how many you have. You need 10 to open a relic. Once you get 10, the relic will be considered open, and then you just finish the mission to claim the reward. So for now, we're just going to try and plink away at these guys. Hopefully not die. That is what reactant looks like on the ground. It will always create a waypoint, or at least it should. And so you kind of just, you pick it up and you've got it. You get 10 of them and complete the mission and you're good to go. That's pretty much how these missions work. But it should be noted that they work very similarly to the standard mission. So this excavator mission, of course, we got to bring down the excavator. And you can see when the relic is completed, or when the excavation mission is completed, we'll have to have 200 chaotic, and that means that the relic will open after 200 chaotic is collected. So our main objective is getting enough reactant before that 200 chaotic is collected. If you are in a group with other people, there's a counter by your group's name, so you can see how much reactant your group has collected. It's considered very polite to ensure that everybody's collected 10 reactant before you complete the mission. Whatever the mission may be. You'll have to forgive me if this is kind of a haphazard explanation. It's not exactly easy to explain everything about these missions right off the bat. Especially not while trying to deal with the actual mission itself. In the meantime, though, I think I've covered most of it. If there's anything else that comes to mind, I will shout it out as I'm cutting down these robots here.
The scanner has picked up a target. Go to the dig site.
It is kind of interesting to see the corrupted because they are a mishmash of all the other races that have been kind of what is believed to be mind control, or like they're being controlled effectively. So there's Grenier foot soldiers, there's Corpus robots and crewmen, and then there are even infested, ancients, and I don't think there are any normal infested though. But the ancients are able to be corrupted, which is very interesting. I know that the normal infested, I believe, can be corrupted if they're near a fissure, though. So that's kind of an interesting thing. Not sure how much it plays into it, but it's interesting to see regardless. And we're actually holding out pretty good, thanks to, I think, the convulsion that I got on... kind of makes my voice went hoarse there because the throat was dry. My secondary here, my kunai, I think I'm being able to hold them off pretty well. The damage mods for your weapons are pretty much the best mods you can have early on, so if you get any of those, try not to throw them away. They're pretty important. So with our first excavator
What's what we
down,
just uncovered?
we've gotten 100 out of 200 of our cryotic. So the mission itself will not end when we get 200 cryotic. The mission will continue, same with normal excavation missions, but the relic will be changed, or well, you'll get to see it when we hopefully get our 100 extra cryotic after this. Effectively, it's just a way to cycle your relics, so you're able to open more than one relic in a mission. Some missions you're only able to open a single relic, which those missions are not as effective for this sort of thing. Let's get some damage in here. Might throw out discharge. See if, still not doing any damage. Because they're the corrupted ancients here. Corrupted ancients are a very annoying enemy. They cause other enemies in the vicinity to take 90% less damage and have a lower chance of getting hit by a status proc, which is effectively like slash, impact, and that sort of thing. It's good to focus on the ancients if you see any, which is what I am trying to do here, so I can get these enemies down, because the other enemies will not take nearly any damage if the ancients are up still. Which is what makes the corrupted some of the most dangerous enemies in the game, and why I think they were kind of chosen for this Void Fissure, because it kind of spreads out the enemy types very heavily. That guy, that corrupted ancient caused me problems. There we go. Now we can actually do some damage to this guy, this extremist. So, one of the things I touched on previously in the last episode was kind of how that your power scales up as the game goes on, and that is heavily due to mods, of course. Your skill goes up as well, and you will definitely notice that you're improving or able to move around quicker because you kind of understand the controls better. But you will hit kind of a skill ceiling until you can get the proper mods to be able to handle certain enemies. God, these ancients are just giving me no end of trouble. And now we've started spawning heavy gunners, so as you can imagine, heavy gunners with corrupted ancients around are probably one of the scariest enemies because they do so much damage, plus with that huge damage resistance, they're going to be a pain in your neck. But I think if I can get some more ammo for my kunai again, we will probably be okay. With this bow of mine, I'm only really able to go for headshots, and that's a bombard. That's unfortunate. That is one of the few enemies I really didn't want to see. But all Grenier, like heavy units, can pretty much become corrupted, which is greatly unfortunate. It makes definitely one heck of a challenge, but when you see a bombard that has 90% damage resistance, you kind of run away. There's not much more you can do.
An artifact has been located. Proceed to the dig site.
For the skill ceiling thing, though, effectively, I just was trying to make the point that
Excavator deployed.
without mods,
Protect
this
the
game
unit while
is
it extracts
infinitely
the
harder.
artifact.
So if you feel really weak early on in this game, don't be afraid to, you know, understand that that's probably why. Is you just don't have the mods yet. As the game progresses and you do get those mods, it's much easier to deal with.
The relic has been cracked open. Finish your mission to find out what's inside.
Alright, so my relic's been cracked open, meaning that one of my weapons or my Warframe has been empowered. You can tell which thing has been empowered by looking at what is like arcing lightning. You can see my kunai kind of have a yellow lightning on them. When you open a relic in any of the Void Fissure missions, it'll give you a buff, which means that that weapon is empowered with great benefit, often being quite ridiculous after said buff, and oh, the bombards just messed me up there. But it does not last after death, and it doesn't typically last very long. If I can just deal with these bombards. Gotta keep them stunned with a shock here. If I can take them down. But that heavy gunner's on the other side, and she's gonna do a lot of damage as well. Alright, we were able to take him down. Good. Those damage mods on these kunai, believe me, it really does make a whole world of difference. I really don't want to get knocked down in front of a heavy gunner though. Alright. So, dealt with that. Our excavator's still up. I think we're doing okay. But yeah, as you can see, just the improvement of having just one damage mod on our kunai allowed us to take out 2 bombards before they were able to destroy our excavator, where previously, you know, just taking out 1 bombard was a nightmare for us. hopefully we don't have to deal with the Ancients at the same time as those, because as I said before, that would just suck a lot. I don't believe that the Ancient damage resistance applies to other Ancients, but I'm unsure of whether or not it does or not. I haven't done enough research on that one. As far as I know, though, if you see an Ancient, target it first, then fight the other enemies afterwards. You really won't be able to deal with the other enemies as effectively if the Ancient is still up. Even just there, you saw that guy took a lot of hits, and I think it might have been because he was in range of this Ancient. So yeah, if you do notice that your enemies are not dying very quickly, that could be the first cause. Look for an Ancient, see if you can't take them out. I don't have any power cells. There's none of the power spawning guys around here. Oh, that's an Extremis Ancient. So that fire wave there, you can get out of the knockback by rolling through it. And oh dear, that's an enemy we had not seen yet, and I was hoping to show off later. Meet the Nullifiers. Nullifiers are horrible, horrible enemies. They create nullification bubbles that nullify all Warframe powers within inside of them and prevent the enemies from being affected by Warframe abilities, which is greatly unfortunate for us, as heavy gunners and bombards can stand in those bubbles and effectively be shielded from our abilities. So what you want to do is you want to hopefully either destroy the bubble with a fast-firing weapon, or run inside of the bubble and kill the nullifier. But that's not always exactly easy, considering the fact that it does nullify Warframe powers, meaning that even your defensive abilities may be nullified. Let's throw up a shield that direction, because they're all coming from that direction. That might be able to slow them down. And you can also shock your shields. I just recently found out, actually, that if you shock them, it causes damage to enemies that walk through it. I have not seen a power carrier, and I'm very confused as to why. There should be Grineer power carriers around somewhere, but I have not seen any that can power. Without them, we're kind of sitting up Heck Creek here. That's another bombard. We gotta find a power carrier if we're gonna be able to defend that thing. I don't see any of them. And our excavator's just taking all the damage because of that bombard. We may have to just consider it a lost cause. I'm not sure what's happening here, and I'm not sure why the power carriers aren't spawning. Sometimes they don't spawn very quickly.
Excavator destroyed. Protect the remaining dig sites.
But we can just do what we did previously and kind of just spawn some more excavators to hopefully get through this. So let's just do that. So we're not taking up too much time here. This episode's kind of gone on a bit longer than I was hoping. But excavation is not a slow game mode. Alright, so whether or not this one lives or dies, we should be okay.
Protect the unit while it extracts the artifact.
I'm still wondering where our power carriers have gotten
The
stuck
scanner
up,
has
though.
picked up a target. Go to the dig site.
We can throw down another excavator. If you have multiple excavators down, they function pretty much the same, they just have independent power supplies.
Excavator is ready to go. Keep it powered and protected from enemy fire.
Hopefully,
The excavator has run out of power.
we can deal with
Find
some of
a
it. There's a
cell.
power carrier. I just killed him. Should be able to get his power cell quick. Run over here. Maybe throw it in that one. Oh boy, there are a lot of enemies here. So of course the problem with Void Fissures and their difficulty is that enemies can and will spawn just randomly throughout the map. And that can definitely throw a wrench in your plans if you're not ready for them. Especially things like spawning nullifiers, which nullify Warframe powers, and bombards, and just the entirety of all of these enemies here. That is a ridiculous amount of enemies. I am completely out of ammo for my bow as well. Great.
Excavator
Okay.
destroyed.
Well,
Protect the remaining dig sites.
excavator finished.
Extraction is available if you choose.
So now that extraction is available, the timer will count down for how much longer we have to collect reactant, and then I see my reward. So in this screen, if there were multiple people who had effectively had relics, there would be other rewards there, but there aren't. And there's also a bonus like readout at the bottom. It all kind of goes by pretty quick. For the next round, we can select a new relic, but I don't really want to continue. I just kind of want to get out, so I'm going to play without a relic. And that kind of signifies to other players, if you're playing with other players, that you don't want really to continue, you just kind of want to finish. You could also just say in chat, like, when are we leaving, or like, I'd like to leave soon. But yeah, that's pretty much Void Fissure. That's what you get prime parts with, and we just got Cernos's Prime's blueprint, which if we had the other parts we could potentially build it, but we don't. And I think the mastery requirement on that one's quite high regardless. So you could continue, of course, getting more relics and opening them in excavation, but I don't plan on doing that. I'm just going to get out, kind of finish out this episode. And so that's a Void Fissure. If you want prime stuff and you want to get lots of it, Void Fissures are really the only way. Though, it should be noted that certain parts cannot be gotten in these low-level missions. You have to kind of spread out and get more missions unlocked so you can get different parts. Just as a quick note, there are, in Void Fissures, different levels. Lith is the lowest level of Void Fissure, Meso is the next, Neo is the one after that, and Axie would be the highest level of Void Fissure. But that's much higher level, as you can actually see, than anything that we're able to do right now. That'll be for much later. For now, though, I think I'm going to end out the episode. Next time we'll deal with that junction and start moving towards Venus and getting that cleared out. So until then, goodbye.